This participant webinar is going to go through how to enter in offline donations. So you may have found that after asking your friends and family to support you in your Defeat Depression event, that some people have given you a cash donation or written you a check. So you'll want those donations to be reflected in your personal page under your thermometer, under your goal, and under your honor roll. So you can enter in those offline donations under your participant center. So you'll need to log in. I've already logged in here, and we're going to go to the tab Enter Offline Pledges. So once here, you can enter in the donor information. You'll want to make sure that you have all of the donor contact details and you're entering them in here. The system will only send out a tax receipt to people who it has complete address details for. So if somebody gives you $25 or more, they're most likely going to want a tax receipt. So you'll want to make sure you have their name, their email, and their address in order for them to receive that receipt. If, let's say, someone doesn't have an email address, that's okay. You can just enter in your own email and the system will send you the tax receipt. You can print it off and you can mail it to that donor, or you can give it to them the next time you see them. The other thing to note is that if you're receiving any checks, you'll want to make sure that those checks are either addressed to you or to Mood Disorder Society of Canada. The check cannot be addressed to Defeat Depression, so you'll want to make sure your donors know that. So let's go through the process of adding in a donor. I'm going to put in their name, their email, go through their address, and I'll put in their donation amount. And you can choose their payment type, so it can either be cash, personal check, or a business check. You also can choose how their name and their donation will show on your honor roll. So that's the little scrolling bar that's below your thermometer on your personal page. So you can choose to either show their name and amount, just their name, they can be anonymous, or you can choose other. In the case of other, maybe it's a company and you'd like the full company name, or it's a family, so you can put the family's name. I would suggest you choose show my name only. If you know that that donor is okay with you showing them the amount, then you can check this one. But just to be safe, showing just their name should work. If, let's say, they contact you and say that they want their honor roll settings to be changed, you can just contact your event coordinator and they can change that for you. So once everything's added in, we're going to fix our spelling here, and we click Add Donor. So below here, the donor has been added into this table, and I added in a few already to show you how they will appear. And you'll see I have the amount in here, their email, their address details. It shows me what type, their status is pending because it hasn't been confirmed yet. I could select this, I could remove it, or I could edit these details. So for this one here, for Jane Doe, I don't have their address details completed, so I have to follow up with that donor, and I could go back and edit to add that in. So if these donations were checks that were made out to Mood Disorder Society of Canada, you would leave it as is, and you would then bring those checks with you on the day of the event, and you would give them to your event coordinator. That event coordinator will make sure those checks are confirmed, and at that point, your donors will get their tax receipt and a thank you message. These donations, at the state they're in right now, will still show on your thermometer though. If I just jump to my personal page, you'll see that they show here as pledged amounts. So that money is still showing on your thermometer. It is reflected here at the amount you've achieved. It's just separating it from confirmed amounts. So once that money has been confirmed by the organization, it will then change from being a pledged amount here, it'll go to being confirmed. So if we go back to offline pledges, if, let's say, all these donors gave you cash or they made a check out to you, then you could pay these off on your credit card, and then you would just deposit the money that they gave you. So we'll go through that process. You choose the little select button, and you'll see here how there is no select button. That's because there's no address details. So when you're paying it off by your credit card, the system needs you to have all the address details completed because it will be sending out a tax receipt. If you don't have all that information in there, it won't let you proceed because it wants to be able to send a receipt at that time. So you'd have to make sure you go back, edit this, put in the address information, and then you could pay it off with your credit card. So we're going to choose this button, Pay by Credit Card. We have a waiver that shows up, so you have to agree, click continue, and it will show you the amounts here. You put in your credit card information, put in your name, put in your expiration date, and process your payment. So those transactions have been put through. So those are now no longer pledged amounts under my thermometer. They'll show as confirmed amounts. So if I go here, that pledged amount has changed. So those donors in the back end would have received a thank you message, and they also would have received their tax receipt email.